Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, house set on fire with 61-year-old woman inside. The grandson of the elderly is accused of causing the inferno. Family of fire victim asks for your assistance to build back her home. Price gouging continues to be an issue. Minister of Agriculture speaks on steps taken to mitigate the situation. And acres of land donated to the Corozal free zone for public parking. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, February 16th, 2023.
The integrated ridge-to-reef management of the Mesoamerican Reef Ecoregion project strengthens governance of the Mesoamerican reef system and creates conditions to position the ridge-to-reef approach in the management of water, coastal and marine resources. What is the ridge-to-reef approach? This approach consists in a broad view in plan, restore, implement government processes and good practices in human and economic activities throughout watershed to obtain in a sustainable way its benefits and avoid deterioration and loss of resources. Some of these benefits are water, food, fertile soil, fishing, tourism, flood protection, and drought resistance. Consider that everything that happens in the upper part of the watershed has effects on its middle and lower area and mainly in the ocean. Therefore, it is necessary to promote a change in behavior in the form in which we manage natural and cultural resources of the MAR. If we continue deforesting forests, degrading soil quality, polluting surface and groundwater, the cost to replenish a natural aquifer recharge, fertilize the land and conserve natural resources will be greater. On the contrary, if we reforest deteriorated areas, the forest recharges groundwater, allowing species to inhabit and captures carbon from the atmosphere, which contributes to resilience of climate change. Good practices in agroforestry and crops reduce runoff by erosion, which avoids the loss of soils and the dragging of agrochemicals. By reducing erosion, watersheds and rivers do not receive large amounts of sediments, agrochemicals, and pollutants. Rivers without excess sediment allow the use of water below the watershed for agriculture and aquaculture, as well as for human and animal consumption. In addition, it avoids the siltation in the hydroelectric dams. If good practices in agriculture are added and good management in the discharge of industrial waters allows rivers to continue bringing their benefits to the lower part of the watershed, And by discharging water waste with proper treatment, we keep wetlands and mangroves healthy. A mangrove barrier on the shoreline helps stop excess sediment into the ocean, protects the shores from flooding, and provides habitat for terrestrial and marine species. Healthy coasts without excess sediment or pollution and with protected ecosystem give the ocean the ability to regenerate itself to keep coral reefs and seagrasses healthy. In this way, the ocean has the opportunity to produce food for marine species, for human consumption, and contribute to counteracting climate change. This vision demands coordination between the relevant actors and the stakeholders from the regional, national, and local levels. Only if we change the way we treat watershed resources will we have the opportunity to have these benefits. Watersheds conserved make healthy reefs. The integrated ridge to reef management of the Mesoamerican Reef Ecoregion project strengthens governance of the Mesoamerican reef system and creates conditions to position the ridge to reef approach in the management of water, coastal, and marine resources. What is the ridge to reef approach? This approach consists in a broad view in plan, restore, implement government processes and good practices in human and economic activities throughout watershed to obtain in a sustainable way its benefits and avoid deterioration and loss of resources. Some of these benefits are water, food, fertile soil, fishing, tourism, flood protection, and drought resistance. Consider that everything that happens in the upper part of the watershed has effects on its middle and lower area and mainly in the ocean. Therefore, it is necessary to promote a change in behavior in the form in which we manage natural and cultural resources of the MAR. If we continue deforesting forests, degrading soil quality, polluting surface and groundwater, the cost to replenish a natural aquifer recharge, fertilize the land and conserve natural resources will be greater. On the contrary, if we reforest deteriorated areas, the forest recharges groundwater, allowing species to inhabit and captures carbon from the atmosphere, which contributes to resilience of climate change. Good practices in agroforestry and crops.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. 61-year-old Bernadette Allen, a Belizean domestic of Naranjal Street, Orange Walk Town, is lucky to be alive tonight after she almost burnt to death. The worst part of this story is that Allen's grandson, 28-year-old Barkley Allen, is the one being accused of setting the house on fire with Bernadette inside. While the 61 year-old managed to escape her ordeal did not end there. Today we spoke to her after she was released from the hospital. She relayed that at around 1 this morning she was inside her home braiding her hair when she heard noises outside. When she peeped out, she saw smoke coming from the dwelling where Alan resides. From then, her nightmare began.
I heard a noise, and then so I come out and I climb on my chair and peep over, and when I peep over, I saw smoke and fire come through that little house. And then I see my grandson run, so I know it's him that did it. And then that time I didn't come out. When I see him run, then I came out, because he took off, and then I get water and try to wet there, and the fire was coming here, so I got scared. That's the reason why I come out and out that one and out this one. And then I hurry went back inside and locked the door. But then afterwards she started booming the house with big stone. But I still didn't pay no mind, because I never want to come outside. But then when I was upstairs again, I heard like pans and rubbish and stuff. He was picking it up from side to side. And then I hear him, he threw it there, and he threw it there where I could come out, because I does not use that door, because that's where my bed is. And then when I went upstairs to get the phone to call police again, the police didn't respond. I've been calling them, but my phone went, I don't know what happened to the phone. And then when I look, I see the fire here, and the fire was starting there and here. So the only way I could have come out, either if I go back in the room and jump through the window and jump over that fence.
The elderly managed to cut her way out of the home, but as she stepped outside trying to find a shield from the flames, she was attacked by Alan.
I grabbed the knife from off the locker, and then I cut the wire and the rope. And then when I came outside, he was right there in the dark waiting for me. And then that's when he started beating me, whopping me in my head with wire. And I couldn't help myself, so I tried to fight him up so I could escape. And then he grabbed me around my neck. I was trying to break my neck. And then I tried to fight, and then that's where I get away. And then I tried to run through there to escape and go to my neighbor over there, and then he have me right there on the ground. And then he was trying to take his two big thumb and dig out my two eyes. And then he started beating me, stamping up me and kicking me all about my body. And then the only reason why he didn't finish kill me is because I got up and I said, please don't take my life. I said, you want cigarette? I'll get the cigarette and give you. When I promised him the cigarette, that then as he moved, so I run so. And when I run out, I run around the lane, and then I meet the lady on the street, bawling for fire truck to hurry come and help us, but they didn't come quick.
With the help of neighbors, Bernadette tried to douse the inferno but was unsuccessful. And by the time the fire department managed to control the flames, Bernadette's entire dwelling and belongings had turned to rubble. And while she is alive tonight to recount her story, Bernadette believes her grandson wanted her to burn inside the residence. Apart from that, she says it's not the first time that she is attacked by him.
This is not the first time. He know nobody was here, and that's the reason why he took advantage of me. And when he was trying to take out my eye, I bite him on his hand. That's how I saved my eye, but only this one get affected.
It's not the first time that he attacks you, and have you reported it to police before?
Yes, Mom, I did all the time, Mommy. All the time I did. I went to court and I take out a restraining order for him to come off of the land, and the officers that I pay my money, and he said that he give him the paper, and we're supposed to be go to court at the Monday But the Monday, I couldn't go to court. I forgot. I don't know, mommy. He's trying to destroy my life, my everything, mommy.
You will definitely want to rebuild your home. Would you like to ask the public for assistance?
Yes, mommy, because everything when I got in all my purse, my phone, I couldn't get my purse and phone because then he made bug me down there and never got any fire me too high.
While Allen managed to escape the scene, cops caught up with him and is now detained at the police station here in Orange Walk. When he was searched by cops, a lighter was found in his pocket. He is expected to be charged for arson. As you heard, it's not the first time that 61-year-old Bernadette Allen is attacked by her grandson. It is a recurrent situation that has even landed in court. It is also a case of a mentally disturbed person committing the act. According to Bernadette's daughter and the mother of Allen, who is accused of torturing Bernadette's home at the age of 17, her son was diagnosed with mental disorder. That, however, does not justify his actions.
I believe that there is no excuse for someone with this kind of behavior, because at the end of the day, they know where to go and find the drugs. They know how to create image or direction into harming someone. So I believe, they know exactly what they're doing. It's just that they need someone in power that can put them under restrictions or rehabilitation. I don't know, but to just not do something, it makes the situation really harder. Like, for instance, it saddens my heart to know that I know in my heart, mind, and soul that we are not the only one going through this situation right now. And the number increases every month, every week, and every year, whereby a family member is being attacked by their own family member who seems to have a mental disorder. And it's so sad, because then we have nowhere to turn to. We, the family member, love our family members, but where can we incarcerate them? We can't put them in a room or a boat house or something like that, because it's not strong enough. You put them in a cement institute, it costs money to build that. We don't have the sources to put them in a corner and give them food and tend to them daily.
The family is also asking for cops to be more responsive in these types of cases that could lead to death.
Our first thing always is to call the police, call the police, call the police. But there have been so many times that the police just refuse to respond, or their lack of transport to reach, or it's always an issue with them dealing with someone they assume is not in their correct mind. And I do understand that it is a special case and things like that, but I say, at the end of the day, they are the only one there that we can run to. Who else can we run to for help? I mean, the first thing coming in your mind is a police officer. So I know that they're human beings just like us, and they have limit to what they do. But I mean, come on, if they cannot help us, and they know that it's an ongoing situation, they are the one in the position to make it known to the judge or to the others who are in charge that, look, this family is in distress, this is an ongoing situation, I see that. Let them try and do something, or direct the family in a direction where we can get assistance before death, because I mean, my God, my mother could have been dead, and yes, it is by my son, and God knows that it is very hard right now because it's your own family member and not a stranger. But where else can we turn to, and where else can we go? And I believe that it was just a lack of assistance with the police department and people who are put there in charge to better lead these public or these kind of situations to help and to prevent cases like these.
While Bernadette's daughter has asked her to move in with her, the 61-year-old has refused to do so.
As you can see, dealing with people, well, mostly older people, they have this mentality that they want to do things on their own. They want their own space. This is what they want to do. They have that created in their mind already. So it's like an ongoing situation whereby I'm always trying to get her to come and live with me, whereby she's in a safer environment. I mean, if I have, my mom have. I take care of the bills here for her so that she doesn't have to have that stress. And then the only thing she does is do her little hustling, and then without that she eat. But I make sure I tend to all my mom's bill. I make sure I help the kids them with as much as I can help, because they had to go to school too, But I don't know, she refused to leave. She don't want to leave.
The family is now making moves to have Bernadette move into this concrete dwelling. But for that to occur, they need the public's assistance. If you would like to assist in construction material, to construct the roof, windows, doors, or even make a financial donation, you can call 601-4184. There is no doubt that the cost of living in Belize is high. Even statistics from the Statistical Institute of Belize say so. Inflation and the Russia-Ukraine war are contributing factors to increase in the cost of living. But believe it or not, price gouging is also a main factor. To deal with the latter, in 2021, Minister of Agriculture Jose Abelardo May told the media that his ministry is looking at all the avenues to dismantle any price gouging wherever it may be occurring in Belize. He also indicated that the Attorney General's office is working on amending the Supplies Control Act and that a paper would be taken to Cabinet for perusal and implementation to arrest anyone engaged in price gouging. Yesterday, we asked him for an update on those two moves.
That document is on my desk right now, and to be honest, that would have been an amendment to the Supplies Control Act, because at the time it was perceived that people were gouging. The research I did clearly indicates that this year the price of food will not be going down. I'm talking globally. The global price of food is on the rise, and experts believe that 2023 is going to be the same. We had hoped that we would not have to resort to changing the act, amending the act, to take people to court for gouging. But it seems that there's going to be a need to do so, because the stores, some of the stores, we are told, are guilty of gouging. That amendment is being prepared, is prepared now, and we are now doing the final touches to take it to Cabinet for Cabinet's approval, and then it will go to the House of Representatives. The fact that prices are going up, yes, it is a fact, and it's global. But I believe that some business houses are abusing of it and then increasing their prices more than what is supposed to be. And that is very unfortunate, because life is already hard, and for the store owners to be gouging is totally unacceptable, and the government will not accept that. And so, as a last resort, we will have to amend the Supplies Control Act.
The government will seek to add or remove products depending on the situation globally, as it intends to protect consumers.
There are two schedules. There's a price control and a price regulated schedule. Price control are what we know as the bread, rice, beans, sugar. Those are price control. It's easy to know because there's a price control. It's at 75 cents for sugar, and if I catch you selling sugar at $1, you're price gouging. You're guilty as charged. And it's price regulated. Price regulated is a little more complicated because it speaks about percentages that you need to earn, what you call percentages profit. And it has at the wholesale level and at the retail level. It becomes a little complicated. But if the government sees it necessary to remove certain important commodities from the price regulated to price control, then it is Cabinet decision to decide we will move in that direction. Right? But for now, we have price regulated and price control. But again, if there is a need to move commodities from one schedule to the next, it's Cabinet decision, and it's going to be based on recommendation. I will take it to them, And if the cabinet believes that that's the way to go, then we go in that direction.
Legislation will be affixed so that price gouging offenders are fined heavily through a ticketing system. 4 months ago, on October 11, 2023, social media was inundated with people posting about a road traffic accident that was registered in Ranchita village involving an ambulance belonging to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. That is the last time a government vehicle that falls under the umbrella of the Corozal Community Hospital was involved in such a situation, as per our archives. However, today that changed around 10 a.m. when a utility white van registered for usage by the Corozal Community Hospital saw itself involved in a traffic accident in the heart of Corozal town. As per the video, it appears that the black pickup glided into the lane of the white van and as a result caused some cosmetic damage to the vehicle. Traffic personnel and Corozal police were called in to process the incident. Fortunately, no one was injured in the incident. We at CTV3 News remind drivers that whenever driving in town, the speed limit must be adhered to with all other traffic rules that govern the roads. Coming up next, protest at the KHMH continues. Stay tuned.
¿Quieres dinero rápido por tus prendas de oro? Entonces aprovecha de los grandes préstamos y empeños de oro en Monica's Pawn Shop. Nuestra baja tasa garantizada de solo el 10% en todas las joyas de empeño. Eso no es todo. También empeñamos televisores, compramos chatarra de oro y puede empeñar su vehículo y aún continuar conduciéndolo. Visite Monica's Pawn Shop en nuestra ubicación en Ciudad Belice, número 128 Cemetery Road, en Ciudad Belmopan, en el número 5 Garden Plaza y en el municipio de Orange Walk, en número 2 Belize Corozal Road. Llámenos al 207-0970 y obtenga más dinero por sus joyas de oro.
¡Es hoy! ¡Por fin es hoy!
A rodar. ¡Esto va a estar bueno!
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Yesterday, the staff of the Carl Houston Memorial Hospital made it to work in shorts as a form of protest to shortages in medical supplies and other shortfalls within the institution, which the KHMH Workers Union say are affecting the delivery of care to patients. This took place even after union executives met with Minister of Health Kevin Bernard and the administration of the hospital on Tuesday. While it was believed that all parties left the meeting amicably and that the protest would be placed on halt as discussions continued, yesterday the healthcare workers arrived at work in short pants and T-shirts after the members of the union mandated that the plan of action be executed. Today, the staff also made it to work in shorts instead of scrubs. This is because several staff members who participated in yesterday's protest were sanctioned by the administration of the hospital for not wearing proper attire to work. According to President of the KHMHW, Andrew Beard, the entire pharmacy staff and 3 clerical staff were anecdoted even after the administration of the hospital indicated yesterday during a morning meeting that there would be no repercussions for those taking part in the actions of the KHMHW.
5 minutes after we left that meeting, we found out from one of our members that she was anecdoted by one of the directors who was in that meeting. And throughout the day, some other members of staff and our union membership received anecdotes. It even went further that when we had our membership meeting yesterday, several of the clerical staff was called out from that meeting and was anecdoted to be for participating in that meeting and have on their union shirts. This can only be classified in our view as intimidation and union busting. We warned the CEO and the management team yesterday that if they continue to agitate the members and staff of the of Carl Hushner in this while we effect our plan of action, then it will become more difficult for the executive to try to reason with our membership to see how we can continue dialogue.
According to Beard, union members were in their right to participate in the protest.
We have cited Chapter 3 or 4 of the laws, I believe. That's the Employer and Union Registration and Recognition Act. And I think in Section 4 of that Act, where it says under employees' right, not union member right, it's an employee's right, that the employees has the right to partake in union activities.
Can you just put that on par with the fact that you are essential service workers? How does that come into play?
Certainly, as essential workers, we are not interrupting the services of Carl Hushner. We are just sending a clear message to the management that we are sending a clear message to them that we are tired of coming to work on a daily basis and does not have the necessary supplies and materials to do our work.
In regard to the formation of the collective bargaining agreement, which all parties agreed will be formulated during the meeting with the minister on Tuesday, Beard says that 6 months is not enough time to draft the document.
It is clear that we are saying that we need to have our materials. They bring the materials and say, oh, we have some materials here, hundreds of thousands of materials, supplies. But after 2 weeks and that depleted, where is the continuity? We do not want to sit at the table for promises that would be only for a short period. Or we come to work every day. This is our livelihood. We want to know that we are certain to have continuity with our thing. And it's beyond shortages. We want to ensure that job security for our security officers and doctors who are being placed on fixed-term contract for 1 year, and on annual basis, these contracts are renewed, but there are uncertainty for these employees.
And that's Beard's side of the story. Today, when the media spoke to CEO of the KHMH, Chandra Cancino, about the anecdotes handed over to some members, she stated that Beard was informed that wherever anecdotes was written would not go on the employee's staff.
Usually the supervisors will respond to whatever policy issues that may arise, and that includes the dress policy issue. And so indeed, before Mr. Beard called me to tell me that they were going to proceed with the casual day, I call it, some anecdote, they call anecdotes, which is like an acknowledgement that you have violated the dress code. It's not a, it's like a first kind of warning. Yes. That the person also has to decide were issued. We met with the union in the morning, and I did give my word to Mr. Baird and the executive that whatever anecdotes are written would not go on the patient's on the staff's file for that day, simply because, well, we are just familiarizing ourselves with what is going on. And, you know, the past president also said, well, you know, you have to prepare staff that if you will come and do action, you know, you have to be, they might get some anecdotes and we will have to deal with those. So I gave my word on that. Apparently afterwards, some persons still receive anecdotes, and so Mr. Baird called me after the meeting and he mentioned to me, I said, don't worry, I already gave you my word that those anecdotes will not go on the personal files, and so that is essentially what happened, and that still applies up until today.
If the unions decide to continue with the protest, the repercussions, if any, will be discussed, says Cancino.
Then we'll have to sit and discuss that along with the union. So like I said, we have to take this one day at a time. We don't know what the long-term plan is.
Okay, so there was a board meeting this morning. Can you comment on that?
There was a board meeting. I can't say too much simply because it was primarily to discuss the current issue at hand. The president of the union sits on the board. There were discussions about going forward, and he will go back to his executive and his membership again with a view to resolve the issue and hopefully come up with a solution sooner rather than later. So we're waiting to see what result that will yield.
To resolve the situation?
Well, there have been many. The first one was us meeting with the union a few weeks ago, just as a management and union meeting. And then we had the Ministry of Health and Wellness, KHMH, and the union meeting. I think that was Tuesday. And then we had another meeting with the union yesterday morning, and then there was the meeting today with the board and with the president who sits on the board.
It is the hope of Cancino that with all concerns brought to the table by the union being addressed either short-term or long-term, the protest will discontinue.
We've addressed every single concern that has been brought to us, so we hope that by having done that, the union would be able to appreciate that there is nothing that they have brought to us that we haven't at least tried to address. Like I said, some fixes are short-term and some are long-term, so we look forward to positive results again.
A few weeks ago, we told you that the Central American Bank for Economic Integration, CAIBE, has approved a non-reimbursable grant of $1,948,074 Belize dollars to finance the rehabilitation of the access road of the Corozal Free Zone. The access road is approximately 1.6 kilometers long, connecting the Santa Elena Bridge to the entrance of the Corozal Free Zone. It is expected that the rehabilitation of the road will commence in March of this year, thus paving a road of convenience and safety for drivers, as well as attract investment and economic opportunities, says CEO of the Free Zone, Neri Ramirez.
CAIBE has already approved the loan and all the documents have already been submitted. We are just waiting for the transfer of the funds, and it was scheduled to start probably as early as next month. The Ministry of Economic Development have already started to work on the process on the procurement to bid out the project.
And what does that mean for the free zone itself?
It means a lot for us because it will rehabilitate the main entrance of the free zone from the exit of the Corozal, the Chactomal Bridge, to the main entrance of the free zone. It's almost over 1.5 miles because it's a two-way lane.
So it means more attraction of visitors?
More attraction and better roads for our visitors.
But a facelift to the access road is not the only aesthetics being added to the free zone. After discussion with an investor of the CEO, Neri Ramirez managed to acquire an 883.9 square yards parcel of land from Norman Angulo, CEO and Director of Universal Imports Limited. The land will be used for parking access.
He had approached me to go and clean the property for parking space. But I told him that I cannot invest money on a title that is not in the name of the Corozal Free Zone. It is on his company name. For me to do that, which I am willing to, or we are willing to invest to landscape the property to use for parking space, for what it is for, he needs to transfer it or donate it to the Corozal Free Zone. Kami, I'm very proud to say that after I spoke to Mr. Norman, he gladly accepted, and immediately I even cut cold seed, handed over the original title to me. He said, Don Neri es de la zona libre. Just that is how it happened.
Free of cost.
Free of cost. Free of cost.
What will it be utilized for specifically?
Well, it is a public space where other properties surrounding it is access to entry and exit. So right now on weekends we are having problems with parking space on the Corozal Free Zone because of the amount of traffic, visitors coming, 1,700 or 1,800 vehicles on a Saturday or on a Sunday. We don't have parking space. So we need to start to look at other areas where we could expand, where we could put public space for park.
For the directors of Universal Imports Limited, one of the first business to operate at the free zone, it was important to contribute to the development of the free zone.
We were the first businessmen here from Mexico and Belize in 1994, and we have been seeing the advance and the growth of the commercial free zone through all these years. We have always been cooperative through the decision of Mr. Norman Angulo to cooperate in the possibilities of the company with that growth of the commercial free zone, and that's why we are giving that the company is giving that lot that is less than 200 yards from the main entrance of the commercial free zone to be used as a public space for the necessities and the requirements of a space for transit and for parking.
Belize has enjoyed several decades of wonderful brother relationship with China, Taiwan. So much so that the government and people of Taiwan have financed numerous projects that Belizeans benefit from. Yesterday, the present ambassador of Taiwan to Belize, His Excellency David Chen, made his last public appearance at the groundbreaking ceremony for an upgraded water system for the Guinea Grass Village people. We took the opportunity to ask the Taiwanese ambassador what his experience in Belize has been over the last 24 months. He has been commissioned to serve as his country's diplomatic representative.
If you ask it what I'm going to say, actually I have nothing to say, but gratitude, gratitude, and gratitude. I have been in Belize and worked in Belize for 2 years, and it's really the time to say goodbye to my good friends in Belize and to complete my tour of duty. And over the past 2 years, I and my teammate spare no efforts and do our utmost, did our best, did our utmost, and traveled as far as we can to reach out to the people, to know more about Belize, and to understand what Taiwan can do for Belizean people. Because we know that what you proud determines, how you proud determines what you will harvest. And walking across the whole country, I got a conclusion. That is, you will never know what hospitality and friendship is until you came to Belize. I would also want to extend our appreciation to the government of Belize, led by Honorable John Briceño, Prime Minister, for your staunch and unwavering support for Taiwan's bid of participation in the international organizations such as UN, WHO, ICAO, and Interpol, etc. And the support of the Belize government really means a lot to the people of Taiwan. And I do believe your friendship will deeply, forever, engraved in the heart of Taiwanese people. And I have a lot of memory here, and I have a lot of friends here. But saying goodbye in Taiwan means next reunion. Saying goodbye is for the next reunion.
Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, Jose Abelardo Mai, was also present during yesterday's event. Mai says he found a true friend in who he refers to as King David.
I think I call him King David because he's really done a fantastic job for us in Belize. I have known many ambassadors, but this is the first ambassador that I've been very close to. And he's a genuine person, a big heart, a brilliant mind. And I think we'll miss him in Belize. And I'm happy that this is the last place he's visiting before he leaves. And wherever he leaves to, wherever he goes to, I'm certain that he will still have Belize in his heart. He will still have Orange Rock in his heart. But really and truly, he's done a great amount of work for my constituency, for my Ministry of Agriculture. He's been of tremendous support. And I think we will never forget what he's done for us in Belize.
His Excellency David Chen is scheduled to leave Belize next week. On Wednesday, January 11, 2023, Miss Belize Ashley Lightburn left many speechless at the 71st edition of the Miss Universe pageant with her national costume. She had been trained and groomed by Director of Miss Universe Belize, Romeo Escobar. However, tonight Escobar gave news via a Facebook post that he has withdrawn from Miss Universe. Escobar in the press release says that recently the Miss Universe organization was purchased by JKN Global Group. With that comes many changes and new implementations of how their business model works. This includes bidding for our franchises as directors. This does not align with the way I conduct business and believe it is not a sustainable way to keep a partnership long-term with its directors. Because of this, I have decided to part ways with Miss Universe and give up the franchise. We reached out to Escobar for comment, but he told us he was not ready to speak. It is left to be seen what the future of Miss Universe Belize will be. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, February 17th here on CTV3 and the Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.